Now, on with our countdown of the 40 biggest hits in the USA. I'm Casey Kasem, this is AT40, and we're on our way to the most popular song in the nation. Well, now I have the strange story of the rock singer who held an autograph party in the middle of a busy New York expressway. His name is Eddie Money, and one evening in March while he was on his way to the final rehearsal of a segment of Saturday Night Live, the limousine he was riding in was involved in a huge multi-car accident. Miraculously, no one was injured. Then one of the policemen at the scene recognized Eddie. It turned out he was an old buddy from Eddie's days as a trainee at the New York Police Academy. In fact, Eddie knew several of the policemen who showed up that night. And while they stood in the middle of the expressway renewing their friendship, one of the officers said, "Hey, Eddie, the wife would love an autographed copy of your album. You think you could send me one?" "No problem," Eddie says. "Just happen to have a box of them in the limo." But when he took an album out to sign for that policeman, suddenly everybody was asking for one. All the policemen and all the passengers of other cars in the big pileup. Picture it now. Police cars roaring up to the scene of the accident, traffic backing up for several miles, horns blaring, and Eddie Money surrounded by a big crowd of people signing his album and chatting with fans. It looked like one of the far-out sketches from Saturday Night Live, only this one was for real. This week, Eddie Money moves up one on AT40 with his first chart hit. At number 14, Eddie Money and Baby Hold On.
The future is ours to see.
Former policeman Eddie Money from New York City at number 14, moving up a notch, 8th week on the chart with Baby Hold On.
American Top 40. American Top 40.
This is Casey on AT40 in Hollywood. Now, the story of a rock star who had it all, almost lost it all, and fought his way back. He's singer Eddie Money. And a couple of years ago, Eddie seemed on top of the world. His first two albums were million sellers, and he'd had hits like Baby Hold On and 2 Tickets to Paradise. But then, with his third LP, Eddie's career took a turn. The record didn't sell as well, and there were other problems, including Eddie's shaky relationship with his girlfriend. One night after an intense argument, Eddie went out and bought a bottle of vodka and proceeded to get drunk. Then he dropped by a bar in Oakland where he used to hang out, and someone there gave Eddie some pills, barbiturates. With a combination of drugs and alcohol, Eddie overdosed. Well, they got him to the hospital alive, but the damage had already been done. His kidneys had gone out. After 2.5 weeks in dialysis, they were functioning again. But Eddie had also damaged an important nerve in his leg, the sciatic nerve. He said, quote, "They came into my room with this brace, and I said, 'Are you kidding me? I'm Eddie Money.' I threw away the braces and said, 'Not only am I going to walk again, I'm going to go back on stage.'" Well, as the nerve in his leg regenerated, Eddie told us, quote, "There was a physical and emotional pain. But my mother came out from New York and took care of me. My girlfriend Margot stuck by me. Bill Graham, my manager, stuck by me, and CBS Records stuck by me." End of quote. After the toughest fight of his life, Eddie Money's back, healthy and not about to make the same mistakes. His new album talks about it. Eddie says, "Don't let this happen to you. Don't lose control. Don't be passing by the graveyard." From that new album, No Control, Eddie Money at number 25 with his latest hit, Think I'm in Love. After 3 consecutive weeks at number 16 where it peaked, Eddie Money falls to number 25 on American Top 40. His 4th Top 40 hit is Think I'm in Love.
American Top 40.
We're on our way to the number 1 song in the land. Now we're up to the rock star who, when he's out on the road, turns into a junk food junkie and the ultimate slob until he comes home and his wife straightens him out. We're talking about Eddie Money, and Eddie told us about how out on the road, traveling from town to town, living out of buses and hotels, a person can change. He says that instead of a good home-cooked meal, his favorite dish becomes a couple of hot dogs buried in sauerkraut with a side dish of cupcakes and Twinkies, and he washes all that down with a carton of chocolate milk. And of course, breakfast for the rock star is the most important meal of the day. Eddie says, "I have mostly Fruit Loops and Alphabets, only cereals with prizes in the boxes." End of quote. And living in hotels, Eddie gets pretty used to not cleaning up after himself. After all, the maids are always there. But then the tour ends. Eddie goes home to his wife Margot in Oakland, California, and the painful period of readjustment begins. Eddie says, quote, "My wife yells at me for days. I don't use ashtrays. I won't put any towels back. I'll eat in the bedroom and leave the dishes there. It's like I'm expecting room service. But at home, there is no room service. At home, if there's toothpaste on the mirror, you have to clean it up yourself." End of quote from Eddie Money, talking about coping with the ups and downs of being a rock star. His current hit went up to number 21 last week. Now it's down to 22. Here's Eddie Money and Endless Nights. Endless Nights, Eddie Money, sliding down a notch to number 22 this week after peaking at number 21 last week. Eddie's 7th top 40 hit. And the countdown continues.
The hits from coast to coast.